Hey Stampin' Friends, Darlene with Darling Stamps. So I wanted to act on our Tuesday video with a suggestion I had from one of my subscribers slash customers slash friends, Stampin' Friends. Anyhow, there was a card that I did in one of the videos, and she goes, could you elaborate a little bit more how you made that? Because a lot of times, to save time, I appreciate how you take the time to watch the videos, but to actually show kind of the process of the one card she asked for. So since I have already mailed that birthday card, I'm going to go straight from scratch. So I'm using Rich Razzleberry and Old Olive. And I'm going to use that primarily because I think it looks good together. Second, because these are the colors I have in my design. The design that I used, that card, came from the paper pumpkin, and I needed to have another design. I had no more of that design left, and it came from one of the cards. So I have one of the special sets that came out with Abundant Season, and this had a pretty big image on it, so I thought that would be a good start. I kind of double stacked that, filled it in, and then I used my blends. These are the Stampin' Blends. You may or may not have decided that is something to add to your supplies, but I messed around with them for a little bit and really got some neat colors that you use. I thought this is basically the dark and the light of pumpkin, and then you can fuss around with some other styles. So because this was part of the process, so this is my image. You see that I try to, it does bleed through a lot, even with our great crisp Whisper White, so which won't matter when I'm putting it down. So that's a piece we'll look at. And then of course you use your 8.5, so if you have a 5.5 by 4.25, that's going to be our base. And then you're going to get, because I'm pulling out the Rich Razzleberry from the card, you're going to get 4 of the pieces of your second color, which in this case is the Rich Razzleberry. And we're going to basically cut them 2 by 2. And it looks like I am just a little off on this one. So that's where a lot of this, try to get the cut just right, and it looks like I was off just a fuzz, but all that makes a little bit interesting when it comes into play. There we go. Okay, so we have our 4 pieces. Now we want to actually cut our image. I want to make sure, this side, I want to make sure that these little buds of the flowers are in the dead center of my picture. And I want to make sure that I keep my pieces like a puzzle. So I've measured it so that I have 4 inches, which basically, because my pieces are 2 by 2, and we're going to come in a little bit with that. And since it's 4 by 4, I know I'm going to get 2 out of it. Okay, so this is my center still, and I'm going to do 2 by 2. So let me get this cut. Oh, we're going to come up to 1 7/8, which is the notch that is. Let me do it this way. It might be a little easier for you to see. It's the notch right before you get to 2. So that's going to be, because I want this to peek out. I don't want it to. I don't want it to, the Rich Razzleberry to be so overpowering that it kind of takes away from it. So get the second piece in here. Okay, so again, we're at not quite, we're at 1 7/8, and then because I want to keep my pattern in line, so let's do it this way because I want to make sure we get our spot. So now, because these edges are not something that I want, I'm going to trim off a little bit of it because I don't need all that white space. So I'm just, there's not a rhyme or reason. It's just a little bit of that edge. Okay. All right. So now I need, and I just got crooked. Son of a gun. Okay. Let me just show you here. So you can see it got a little crooked because I was too excited about my showing you my process here. Okay, so we got that. We're going to come in and we're going to do 1 7/8 because it's basically you're doing a total square. Okay, 1 7/8, and this one should already be cut. So I have 2 pieces, keep those right together, and then cut a little bit off here, and it should be just fine. 1 7/8 and 1 7/8. Okay. All right, so now put this puzzle back together. We have that piece, and we have that piece. Is that right? No. Okay, oh, there we go. There's my piece there. And where's my piece? It's gotta be this way. You would think it'd have been simple to do, but it has to be this way. Then I'm missing that piece. Okay. Oh. Wow, this is like one of those puzzles that you put together. There it is. Nope, it's not. Do it again. Okay, now I got it. Whew. Okay, now we want to make sure that I got my puzzle put that together. And now we have to get it assembled. So we're going to take, and we want the 4 corners to meet. So it's going to be the opposite corners that we're going to do our quarter punch. And basically, that's all we're doing is putting those together. If I lay it down, then I know I'm doing it right. Yes. Okay, right. And, yep. And it's not going to be that big of a difference if I don't get it, because then I would just turn it around, right? Okay. There. And opposite corner. Okay, so basically all you're doing is just the opposite corner. So these 2 did not get rounded, these 2 did. And I can just notice that my piece didn't get as, you can't see it with the, no, I don't want. Okay, so there are our pieces. Now we're going to do the same thing with these. Okay, so that they will match our rounded. And I put it in place so I don't get my puzzle all cattywampus. I'm not sure why my rounder is not doing that, son. Okay, that's why we have the scissors right in there. Okay, then that goes right on. Same with here. And, you know, some of the steps in my other videos, it is a process where I will do one and then just show you the rest. But this one needed a little bit more attention, and I am so happy to do that. So feel free to, and I was talking and I blew it. Buggers. All right, so now I need to figure out how I'm going to fix that. Well, it's one of those things that, okay, well, it's not a big boo-boo. You'll know because you're watching, but when I make it, the person I give it to, they will not see the difference. Okay, so now I have my puzzle. Make all this off. And that's probably the biggest thing, is when you do have everything lined up, is just keeping it as together as possible. Now remember, we only came in, there we go, we only came in 1/8 of an inch, not a quarter. You know, when you try to do your layers, you want to make sure that you're not, I just wanted a hint, and that's what makes this just very simple, is that it doesn't take up a lot of room too. So I'm trying to keep my puzzle together, and I don't think we'll have too big of a hiccup with this little boo-boo with this. Okay, so now these are going to go on here just like this. Okay, so all my 4 of my corners are right there. It has the little point at either end, and then these get glued on. And I have my process because I want to make sure that I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on if it's at the top or the bottom. It's important more so to get it straight on. So anyhow, well, we just got back from a trip and visiting some family, and I'm just real fortunate that my husband loves to drive, because I get tired. I get tired really easy. So, and I'm not a real good reader. You know, when you drive, some people can just read, and man, they get a whole book knocked out, and oh, it's just good for them. I can't do that. All right, and here is our, and then this is, by doing it with the 2x2, it gives a nice green that pops out in the middle. So you see the picture kind of stayed in the continuity of that, and my little hiccup you don't quite see too much. And then we're going to stamp the bottom, and I want it to stand out for the sentiment, so that's going to be my big wow factor here. And because I don't remember, you know how you have some blocks and I don't remember if it is straight when I put it down, and it's not. Whew, that would have been boo-boo. Okay, I can use my positioning tool, but on the blocks, it's a little bit different to do. Perfect. Okay, we'll clean that, and then I wanted to use a little bit. This is nice, but I also want to do a little bit of oomph. So I want to use the leaves, and I'm going to use green because it's kind of like a tone on tone. It'll kind of, it will be muted. That's kind of a good word. Muted. And I want to kind of put a little bit of emphasis on my word, and so there. That is basically it. So the measurements, a regular card, A2 cards, what these are called, which is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. These each pieces, the Razzleberry is a 2 by 2, and then the print piece is actually the 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. And then just make sure on your rounding, just keep those 4 corners tight right there, and then you're going to round the opposite too, and that's how we get ours. So simple. Hope that just added a little bit of oomph to a technique and a style. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for your support and this channel, and I hope that you have a fantastic